Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. That breaking news is coming from a police situation over at 8 Mile Road and the Southfield Service Drive on Detroit's west side. We've been told one man has died. Mara McDonald just arrived on the scene working that area. Joining us live with details, what do we know so far?
Karen, first of all, we got to be very careful with what we show everybody here because there is an obviously dead man on the ground over here. Let me say, first of all, the Detroit Police Homicide just pulled up on the scene here, and they're trying to piece together what happened here. But what we've gotten so far from people in the general area is this. There is typically a panhandler who sits in a wheelchair at this intersection. We know him. We've done stories on him. He was actually shot in the head a couple of years ago and survived. His wheelchair is empty. He is not here. I have been told that he has been taken to the hospital. The man who is on the ground, obviously deceased, I don't know who that is. That is an adult male, and he looks able-bodied. There are many shell casings on the ground here. It appears that there was some sort of a shootout. What is unclear is whether this was a shootout involving the panhandler who typically sits there, or whether he was just sort of stuck in the middle of two rival groups shooting at one another. That's unclear. I can tell you right now, DPD is in the process of trying to look at some of the buildings in this immediate area to see if they have any sort of video that can show what led up to this. But I mean, we've got the visual, Karen. There is an obviously deceased man out here, and police are telling us at least one other person has been taken to the hospital. We assume, or I have been told, that it is the man that we have done stories on in the past, who is the panhandler who sits in that wheelchair, who is a double amputee. What led up to this? We're still working on it. We're live on Detroit's west side. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Mara. We'll be checking back.
Oh, God. Whew.
Terrifying sights and sounds caught on camera. Now, this may seem like an episode of dramatic TV, but it is a real-life rescue that happened just this morning. The body cam video telling the story of three quick-thinking deputies from the Macomb County Sheriff's Department who pulled off a daring and dangerous rescue. Law enforcement officers trained for a variety of scenarios, but certainly nothing like this. Paula Tubman is outside the home in Macomb Township where split-second decisions saved a man's life. Paula.
Yeah, Karen, this video is absolutely heart-pounding, and it really does give you, a close-up view, because it is body cam video, a close-up view of what these deputies encountered. We do want to warn you that the video you're about to see is intense, and it could be disturbing to some people. You can see the flames from the window of the front door. This is body camera video from the Macomb County Sheriff's Department and Deputy Zachary Dang. First one in, about a minute from this Macomb Township home on Leanna Drive when he got the call. 3 minutes ahead of the fire department, he charges in and finds it's the homeowner who's on fire.
Oh, God.
We looked out, and the next thing we know, we see police officers running back and forth.
Saima lives next door.
At that point, we didn't know if maybe they were chasing somebody, or we knew something happened at the house because they were going in and out of the house, but then they were running and frantic.
Fellow deputies close behind, Jonathan Corte and Thomas Bartoli. They come in with the fire extinguishers.
Right here.
They knew it was a fire. No one at first realized it was the person who was on fire until they were standing right in front of him.
Attempted to smother the flames with a blanket. The other two deputies arrived. There was heavy smoke inside the house. They brought in a fire extinguisher. They extinguished the fire.
But there was so much smoke in the home. Everyone suffered smoke inhalation. Yet the deputies still got everyone out.
Get the dog out. Get the dog out. Get the dog out.
Including the dog.
That's not what they were expecting to see. They were expecting to see, whether it's, the curtains, a piece of furniture or something on fire, not an individual. So right then it was, in their minds, a horrific event. They were trying to do their best to extinguish that fire, to give the individual a chance and get EMS in there, which they did.
Remarkably, The homeowner survives. Deputy Zachary Dang, 6 years in the department. Deputy Thomas Bartoli, 7 years. And Deputy Jonathan Corte, just under 4 years on the job. Firefighters will tell you when it comes to buildings on fire, seconds matter. When it's a human being on fire, nanoseconds matter. And it was the quick thinking of these 3 deputies that saved this man's life.
They're doing good. They went to the clinic. They got checked out. Again, all of them, when I spoke to them, are on their way home.
Yeah, you know, that's a pretty proud sheriff, and rightfully so. We're told that the homeowner, again, remarkably, incredibly, he is in stable condition at a hospital in Detroit, and there will be mental health care available for these deputies if they want it. But wow, all you can say is wow.
And an amazing story. I know you're still gathering information. Obviously, we're wondering, you know, why or how did this individual get set on fire? Who made that 911 call? What are some of those details?
So, still under investigation. Daughter in the house was frantic. She made the call. It's believed he may have been smoking, but again, that's still under investigation.
Wow. Unbelievable. Quick working, hard working by those deputies. Paula, we appreciate it. Thanks so much. Detroit Police Department and community leaders have walked the neighborhoods, also knocked on doors to ask residents for information about that fatal shooting of an 11-year-old boy. That shooting happened on Sunday about 7:30 in the evening at a home on Beaconsfield near Corville. Police say someone driving by opened fire, striking Latrell Mines as he was just walking down the street. He was rushed to the hospital but didn't make it. Chief James White explains the kind of help they need.
And really what we're looking for is anything unusual, anything around that time of 7 p.m. Sunday night that may have been different, anything that someone may have captured on a video system that we can use to bring some justice to Latrell's family.
A few other details have been released, but police say they don't think the 11-year-old was the intended target. City of Detroit just received millions of dollars in funding to speed development in a handful of neighborhoods. The projects include plans to convert the abandoned Arthur Murray building into residential apartments, also some retail space. A project called the Broadway Lofts is also coming with more housing and retail. You'll see the Deco development over on East Warren. The empty Jefferson Intermediate School will be transformed into a workspace that includes a new headquarters for Midtown Detroit Incorporated. Also, watch for the Fisher 21 Lofts project. Mayor Mike Duggan says the need for housing is strong.
I don't know if you saw the story today, but the city of Detroit home prices are now growing at a more rapid rate than Miami, leading America. Housing is getting tougher and tougher in this city. We need those 400 housing units in this city. We don't need to be knocking down all of these buildings.
The projects are a team effort involving different developers, the revitalization and placemaking program, and more than $14 million from the Detroit Economic Growth Corporation. Well, the Detroit Lions are getting ready for their first home playoff game since 1994. They will face the Los Angeles Rams, along with former Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford, Sunday night. Now, a short time ago, Coach Dan Campbell says he knows all about the Stafford and the Rams.
We know the challenge ahead of us with this opponent, playing really good football, very efficient on offense. Stafford, his ability to see it, throw it, accurate passer. So it'll be challenging.
By the way, Bernie Smilovitz and Hobie Artigue will get you ready for Sunday's big game with a local pregame show. The Detroit Lions All-In Playoff Edition kicks off at 6:30 Sunday night, which leads right into NBC's football coverage. We got you covered Sunday night on Local 4. And we're still waiting for details for the plans to celebrate the University of Michigan's national football champs. We're expecting some kind of event on Saturday. Nothing official right now has been unveiled. As soon as we hear, we are going to talk about it on Local 4. Also, we're going to push an alert on clickondetroit.com. And as we head into the first forecast, here's a look at Ann Arbor. Excitement about the national champs will definitely be building into the weekend. The weather could get tricky. Kim Adams counting down to a winter storm watch. Kim?
Yeah, I don't know, but I would imagine weather is factoring into some of those plans, and that might be the delay with them announcing it, because we do expect significant snow, especially north and west of Detroit, including Ann Arbor. If you're on the east side, it'll be a little less, but definitely more on the west side. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But 36 in Mount Clemens, upper 30s at City Airport, 36 Metro, 35 in Ann Arbor. It's been a windy day. Gusts at the airport at 40 miles per hour, also downtown. Mount Clemens, 41 mile per hour gusts, and just windy everywhere. So this is what it feels like, even though we're in the 30s, feels more like it's in the upper 20s with the wind chill. Now tomorrow we have a clipper coming through, and it will do just that. It'll clip us with a little snow for the morning commute, about an inch or so, and then in the afternoon we get to 37. But look at this temperature trend. This will be the big story next week, with highs close to the single digits in some areas. We'll talk more about that snow for the weekend coming up.
All right. Well, there was some drama on Capitol Hill today as President Biden's son, Hunter, is on the offensive when it comes to the House investigation looking into his business dealings and the impeachment inquiry into his father. Biden made a dramatic visit to Capitol Hill as the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees were considering resolutions to hold him in contempt for refusing to testify in public. But that is not the entire story. Kimberly Gill now with more on this drama. Kim.
Hi, Karen. Good afternoon. Hunter Biden's visit was largely symbolic. He wanted to show he's ready and willing to testify, but only in public. The president's son briefly sat in on the meeting of the Oversight Committee, but he left as Georgia's Marjorie Taylor Greene started speaking, prompting this response from her. Listen.
I think it's clear and obvious for everyone watching this hearing today that Hunter Biden is terrified of strong, conservative Republican women. I'd like to reclaim my time, Mr. Chairman.
In November, they issued a subpoena for a behind-closed-doors deposition, a tactic that the Republicans have repeatedly misused in their political crusade to selectively leak and mischaracterize what witnesses have said.
We have a Hunter sighting today. Oh boy, he's back, I think, to complain about being compelled to testify. But he's still in defiance of the subpoena. And that is the important and undeniable fact here. He's defying a lawful congressional subpoena.
And so the two House committees will each vote on contempt resolutions and send them to the full House for consideration. If the Republican-led House holds Hunter Biden in contempt, it will be up to the Department of Justice to decide whether to prosecute. So, Karen, we'll have more of the fireworks from Capitol Hill when you join us for Local 4 News at 5. Until then, we'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Kim.
Sure.